Hello, YouTube. My name is Mima. I used to be fat, I lost all the weight, and now I'm delusional enough to think that I can be an endurance cyclist. Yikes. So I am 5'3", and when I decided that I needed to and wanted to lose the weight, I was at around 185. And I know this specifically because I was weighed at my doctor's office, and this was where and when I made the decision to actually lose 65 pounds. I was at the doctor's for my annual checkup and also to start the process of getting ready to try for a baby. My blood work came back and it turned out not that great. My A1C levels were in the pre-diabetic range, and it at that point looked like I had insulin resistance. And then my doctors ordered more tests and confirmed that I did have insulin resistance. Prior to my test results coming out, my OBGYN was actually not very enthusiastic about my weight. And that was because, one, my weight meant that I might have a more difficult time conceiving. I was also at a higher risk of having a very, very challenging and difficult pregnancy. And because of my family medical history, I might have a higher risk of actually getting gestational diabetes. So when the tests came out and confirmed basically where my metabolic health was, that actually gave me the impetus and really pushed me to say, all right, I really need to do this. I really need to put my health, my mental and physical health as a priority, even though at that time my career was also a big priority of mine. So I am just incredibly thankful for advances in medicine and for the doctors that I have because, one, all the doctors that I have, including my PCP, my OBGYN, all recommended that I go through a weight management program so that I wasn't trying to lose the weight alone and I had medical help, I had all this professional help to actually help me build the habits so that I would sustainably lose the weight and keep the weight off. Because I am pre-diabetic and insulin resistant, I went on a GLP-1 medication called tirzepatide, or the brand name Zepbound, and it was a hugely, hugely important tool in my toolbox to actually be able to build the habits, change my lifestyle, change my diet completely. Because of GLP-1 medication, changing my diet from a diet that is made up of mostly ultra processed foods to 80-20 whole foods was not a gargantuan task, and I was able to do it side by side with an incredibly demanding career. So I still felt well nourished as I completely changed the components of my food, changed my eating habits, learned portion control, learned about nutrition generally, and making sure that the food that I was eating was not just on a macro level nutritious, but also on a micro level also nutritious, so that I don't miss any of the important micronutrients that our body needs to be able to function and also thrive. And because the GLP-1 medication allowed me to actually make this big shift in my diet without giving up mental clarity and mental health, while I'm also prioritizing my career and my professional life, it made it so much easier for me to actually change the rest of my lifestyle to fit this new normal that I wanted to have for myself. And that meant having a consistent routine and sleeping from at least 7.5 hours every night, sleeping early, waking up early, and also starting rigorous and consistent strength training regimen for myself. I now weight lift consistently and have focused, after losing the 65 pounds, have focused on building muscle rather than losing more weight. I feel like I'm at a good spot in my life weight-wise. I have never felt so good energy-wise, mental clarity, and I feel like my body is so much more capable of things now, things that I have not even thought that this body could be capable of, which is why I'm probably delusional enough to think that I can do this. But still, that doesn't change the fact that I still have metabolic issues. And fairly recently, when I went to have another check-in with my doctors, my cholesterol levels were still pretty high despite the huge change in my diet and despite the fact that I was already in a very good exercise regimen that focused a lot on weightlifting. And after some additional testing, it was confirmed that my high cholesterol is due to mostly genetics. I still do need to make some minor changes with my diet to help manage my high cholesterol, but I also need to take cardio a little bit more seriously than I have. And that is where we are today. I seem to think endurance cycling is the answer. I just think it's a beautiful sport. My brother is an avid cyclist. He lives in Canada and goes around beautiful places, which I am fairly jealous of. My mother was also an avid cyclist and is now getting back into it. So you could think of it as a family affair, but it also seems to be appropriate for me given that I have worked in climate and environmental issues my entire adult life. And this gives me an excuse to basically just ride through really, really, really beautiful places in my spare time. So this week, I start training. We have had an indoor bike for a few years now, and I'm just going to pop on Trainer Road, which is a subscription app that I found that helps manage and customize training plans. So that seems a pretty good start for me, considering that I've never done this before. And my goal for the first month is just to have a consistent training schedule where I feel like I am able to integrate bike riding, at least for now, indoor bike riding, with my current workout regimen, which is mostly just weightlifting. If I am able to maintain that training schedule and I feel that I am strong enough and I'm actually improving in my endurance for at least 4 weeks, then I do plan to go out, maybe see a bike fitter and see what are the bike options for me out there so that I can actually start outdoor biking. If and when I am able to find the right bike for me, my goal then after that is to actually ride outside and to do at least a 15-mile trail. That is my first goal, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully, that will take me to my longer goal, which is to ride a 184 bike trail that runs from the edge of Northwest Maryland to Washington, D.C. I know there's a really big cycling world out there, and that's partly the reason why I wanted to start this YouTube channel, was to just find my people and find my community who could really bring the best out of me and really push me to do things that I know my body can do. So if you guys want to stick around for that journey, I hope you consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I am going to be documenting my first week of training for my second video, and then we'll see where that takes us. I hope you guys have a great day. Happy riding.